welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy, and I'm joined, as always, by Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. That's it. Just Shamato.
Yep.
So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, me and Shamato have the honor of sharing this podcast with you. Jordan, believe it or not, a Royal Geek member who claims to be a true nerd geek has not been caught up on Daredevil Born Again or Daredevil in general.
I mean, I think it's probably because his nickname is the Landlord, and, you know, in the slums of Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil probably beat up a lot of really crummy landlords.
You know, yeah, so he's living in fear now, and I don't know. And T-Roll, honestly, I don't know where he is. He's actually not in his new home, where he just moved.
Yeah, he's some other place.
He's another place. So, I don't know.
He's in another time zone, and possibly.
But it doesn't matter, because Shamato and I are here to break down Episode 1 of Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, and it is titled The Northern Star. We have Marvel TV back, and we're super excited to break it down for you. So before we dive into this episode, thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We really do appreciate you. Please give us a like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And spoiler warning goes into effect right this very moment. Spoiler warning for MCU TV Daredevil. Shamato, we're back, baby.
Yep.
What'd you think about the episode 1?
I think it was a solid entrance into getting us back into the feel of Daredevil. Honestly, I think it was probably better than Season 1's Episode 1 in my mind. I feel like Season 1's Episode 1 was kind of a little bit slower into stuff. I know it dealt with the whole situation with Foggy, but then it kind of petered out after that, and I felt like this episode was a really good setup into like seeing where the city is, what state it's in, and things along that nature.
Yeah, especially like the very opening with the BB report and just everything's great.
Eerie.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, no, yeah, you're right. It's eerie, but the things that they're saying are quote unquote positive.
Yes,
but it doesn't feel right. It
Yeah.
doesn't. You're like, okay, am I missing something here? Is everything okay? Like,
yeah, it's
because BB we're led to believe that we can trust that source, right? Because she's Ben's niece,
yes,
right?
yes.
And so, like, we're led to believe, like, okay, this is a reliable source. But then last season, it kind of ended like she's working for, like, Tony Soprano, but she's not really.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it was just weird seeing that in there. I'm like, okay, so this is propaganda. This is for sure propaganda.
Yes, very much propaganda, and I wouldn't mind doing a little more research into like exactly how they shot it to like have that feel, but maybe it's just because of the fact that we know everything that's coming out is just not true, really.
Right, yeah.
Or honestly, maybe the eerie part about it is that there are like tones of truth in it. Like you're hearing them say things that are real, but they're just real for like the wrong reasons in a lot of ways. It's crime is down. Well, that's because all the crime is actually being done by the task force, and they're like, they're completely violating people's rights and things like that. So yeah.
So martial law is still in effect, and Kingpin Wilson Fisk has power.
Yes.
This task force is unleashed and basically doing the bidding of whatever Fisk wants. And so the opening after the B report is the Northern Star, the ship. And it is, there's a big giant cargo ship is on one of the rivers or lakes or whatever of New York, or the Hudson, maybe.
What was it? It was either the Hudson or the East, because they do specifically say it later.
And we're already like, okay, vibes are really, really good because we got dark shadows, terrible lighting, and shady people with guns.
Can I tell you, like, there was a shot that they do when it's going right under the bridge, that's opening. It looks phenomenal. Like I just loved that opening shot where it shows the ship just kind of like slowly, eerily going underneath the
It was
bridge.
overhead too, right? Like
Yes,
it was
it's
looking
an
straight.
overhead
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, it looked phenomenal.
I remember drawing attention to that as well, and so obviously, as a viewer, we're initially led to believe like there's some shady business going on in here,
Yeah.
and we see Daredevil in the background making noise, yanking people,
Yep.
and so amazing. The stealthy Daredevil is top tier.
Yeah.
Like yes, he can fight up front and be on the front lines, and he can be one of those guys, but the stealthiness is just on
Well,
another level.
honestly, like stealth is kind of like plays into him because he doesn't use guns.
Yeah.
So like,
Or he can't see. So
Yeah.
that's something. So he eventually makes it. He beats enough bad guys to where the ship captain and first mate are like, we're in trouble. The ship's going down, and we got to ditch whatever's on board, the cargo. Right.
Yeah.
Daredevil finds a fake wall, finds an entire storage container of
military grade stuff.
military grade weapons, and the ship sinks. Daredevil washes ashore, and we then learn that Fisk doesn't he show up at the scene, right? He shows up at the bay, and he's with his deputy mayor now, which is Tony Soprano's son.
Little Tony.
Yeah, little Tony. I can't unsee that, man. Like
Yeah.
every time I see it. But was it Gandolfini? Right. That's
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Michael.
yeah.
He's there with
Isn't it Buck?
Buck
And his
assistant
assist-
/ she's got a bigger role.
I think like it's a
Chief of
campaign
staff,
advisor.
right? Oh, yeah,
I think it's something like that, or maybe chief of staff.
Yeah. She's there too. And basically he's saying, but like not saying, there's stuff on here that I need. Task force lead is there. I don't know what his name is yet, but they're like, assemble a team, go get my stuff, and no questions asked, that kind of thing. And did you have his name, Shimano? Powell.
Yes.
Oh, Powell. Okay, nice. So I found it interesting that he's kind of talking about this in the open with his quote like chief of staff or her there, because
She always seems like slightly. She always seems uncomfortable with what's going on.
correct. Yes, and part of me was like, is he letting more people in to this world that he's like shady? But yeah, so he wants to get his stuff back, and then Daredevil, we see him head back to his hideout with Karen.
Yes.
She's there, and man, when she's working the bag and she's working the sticks, and I'm like, we don't know it's her at first, but I'm like, whoa, okay, we got a training montage. Or what we got here? What other hero in the wings? And then they show that it's her,
Yes.
Karen Page, and I'm like, okay, he's smart. He's getting her ready because he can't be around all the time.
Yeah, he can't be around all the time, and the grips are kind of closing in on them a little bit at this point. So he doesn't know what's going to happen with this.
She's a legit fugitive for aiding and abetting vigilantes.
Yes.
And so like her wanted poster is
up there just with everyone else.
all over the place. Yeah. She's got a reward, wanted poster, dude, worth so many berries. It's insane. And she has to defend herself now because the task force is brutal.
Yeah, and they just make people disappear.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we get a good interaction here with Matt Murdock and Karen, and they kind of they're together. It's officially like out in the open. All the viewers are like, we're not playing this will they won't they game anymore.
Yes.
We are legit together. It gets a little steamy, and then it like moves on. So, Shamato, how do you feel about like Matt Murdock in a relationship as Daredevil? Like, I feel like only bad things can happen from this.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where, for the most part, when Daredevil has a relationship, he kind of like. He usually splits it. It's usually he has that traditional like the person that he's with doesn't know that he's Daredevil. The very traditional superhero like relationship setup where they don't quite understand him completely because he's so completely secretive, and he's just he's always disappearing, things like that. It'll be interesting to see how they play it because Karen's such a popular character in this series, especially in like through the Netflix Marvel setup. So it'll be interesting to see because normally you'd be like, "Oh, this girl's gonna die," like
Right.
like
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like that is like pretty much any girl that's in a relationship with him, especially once they know who he is like on the chopping block essentially.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out because she's so pivotal to the main cast. Um, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it though. Like, is she going to? Is that what's going to happen to her? Is the training montage a point to where maybe she's going to become a vigilante herself,
Oh
in some
boy.
in some form or fashion?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out because she does a lot of like espionage work and things like that, and she throughout this episode, and she does some things that are like she kind of talks a little bit that she's kind of coming into her own more in this role and be more active. Even though she is the fugitive, she's be more active in the role in general of helping Daredevil than she's kind of been before. And for the most part, up until this point, it's been like paperwork related stuff that she's kind of been
Right.
related with. But now she's doing like real like spy work.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that like she would typically be somebody you're like, oh yeah, she's gonna die, that kind of thing. And if they were willing to kill Foggy, like she may still be on the chopping block.
It's possible. It is possible that she could be on the chopping block.
Right.
But I just think it's like I think it's an interesting situation because usually when Daredevil dates someone or there's these characters, they're like they're not necessarily a part of the main cast. They're like slightly outside of the main cast. But they're like pulled in for like
Right.
these moments and times and things like that. And then if you need to, you can either turn them villain or kill them off.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. And so they've established themselves in the scene, right? And then we go back to I believe it's a news report of the ship that sunk.
Yeah.
And it's in a bar and it's in DC. And we get a new character introduced, who is played by Matthew Lillard.
Shaggy?
Shaggy. Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. And he gets a phone call while he's watching this. It looks like he's already 4 bourbons deep, and
Yeah.
at this point, and he's talking to somebody, which is not revealed at the moment. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm gonna go New York
Yeah.
and figure out the situation."
Yeah. He's just like, oh, I need the miles.
Yeah,
Like,
and yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then we see Fisk in his office, and they're trying to shut him down. Basically, the
it's-
governor's office.
yeah, the governor's office. I think it's the DA and like I think it's the lieutenant governor.
Yes, which there's a funny jab in there, like that when Mr. Charles, who's Matthew Lillard, when he
Yes.
comes in, he's like lieutenant governor. Which like, what do you even do? What is that even like? We're just making up things here. But yeah, they come in and they're just like, you can't have martial law. You didn't run anything by the governor. This is shut it down. And then Mr. Charles comes in, and he's like, he's very like laissez-faire, like chill in the moment. And he's like, you're gonna want to pick up that phone call. He picks up the phone call and name drops, 100% name drops. Was it DeFontaine or Valentina? Right, her last name. And we're like, okay, so we got some connection here because she's currently the head of. Well, I think she took over the CIA. I think, or it wasn't some fake organization. I think it was.
I think it was a fake. I think she used to be over the CIA.
Oh, so she
And
did.
I think
take
by
over.
the time Thunderbolts is around, she's somewhere else. She's whatever organization.
Okay.
Well, I forgot what it was. What organization she was actually over during like the Thunderbolts?
During it?
things
Okay.
Like that.
All right. Yeah, I missed that. Whatever. We're here to vibe. We're not here to be factually
Yep.
correct. Okay. Moving on. But yes. So Fisk, so far in this episode, he has shown that his power has grown beyond just crime. He's now politically influencing
Yes.
the game. Whatever's going, they literally, Mr. Charles from DC is coming in.
Yeah. It's reached outside of New York City.
Yeah,
It is an interesting thing. Is what kind of what they're saying when they're saying that it
yeah,
isn't just a local politics type of thing.
right, exactly. He's a government player.
Yes.
He's 100% a government player, and like he's got to be on a very large scale because even Fisk respects him. So you got to think about that. Like what character is he playing? Like, is he a hidden character in Marvel lore, or is he just
Honestly, he sounds just like a CIA agent to me.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like the way he's going about it, he seems like one of those kind of snarky CIA types.
Right.
That like are kind of self-grandizing in a lot of ways. They're kind of like, although he goes by Mr. Charles, like they even point out like if that's even your real name. Like,
Right.
like I think it's kind of the point to where like he's a no name. Like literally, that's the point of like him is that you will never know his name.
Right.
He just comes in, does what needs to be done.
Which I did find that interesting. We get a scene later on where Mr. Charles is in Fisk's home with him and his wife, and he's like, "Am I allowed to speak openly?" Like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Is Vanessa supposed to be here? Like, can we talk about our dirty laundry, what we need to take care of?" And basically, they're like, "Hey, I will set up a team to go and fetch your stuff, and then kill them all,
Yeah.
so they don't squeal or speak or or have knowledge of the situation."
Yeah.
And Fisk is like, "That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Please,
can
please
you
do that."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, yeah. But also I get these vibes. I feel like by the end of the season that he is going to beat Mr. Charles to death.
Fisk.
I think Fisk is going to just
I mean,
pound him into the ground.
it's kind of his mo. It is.
And I think that there are moments where like they talk where like, yeah, he's showing some deference and some respect to this person, but I think he also has an immense amount of disdain for him. And I don't think although he's showing some respect and things like that, I don't think he trusts him in any sort of manner. And I don't think he necessarily likes the way that he talks. I don't think the way that I think he sees Mr. Charles as someone who, like, you know, he talks out of the side of his mouth. Like he would say anything to do anything.
Which he does come across as.
Yeah,
kinda
like very
that.
much so. If it fits like what he's doing, like honestly, that's who he is,
Yeah.
and that's literally what his job is. But I don't think Fist doesn't like that. Like he does not like people who are false. He does not like people who are not straightforward with their intentions.
Right.
Even though he's not always that himself. But I think very much so in this situation, he doesn't like that. And I think it's going to eventually come to a point where he, he's going to be physically beating him up, even to the point where like, even when he says like, "Oh, can we talk?" He's like, he literally calls him out after that. Though he's like, yeah, you can talk to her, everything, and he's like, and then he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to offend." He's like, "But you did." Like he literally calls him out in that moment, "But you did."
Yeah.
Like, and I think he just does not like the way that Mr. Charles operates.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, Mr. Charles, he doesn't like the way he operates. However, he was down with his plan to recover the cargo and then, like, kill the people who do it.
Yeah.
And but because Mr. Charles is taking that on, Fisk is able to redirect his task force in finding the captain and the first mate of Northern Star.
Yes.
Which Matt Murdock is also looking for because he wants answers on what's going on. And so we kind of get this back and forth of who will find these people first. And we see Fisk's tactics with his task force, which looks eerily similar of what's going on in real life.
Unfortunately, in the world, yes.
Interesting. But they are busting up into is it a Greek restaurant, I believe?
Yeah, Greek.
Yeah. And dude, when he like is questioning the lady and she doesn't give anything, and then he immediately slaps her, like backhand.
I don't think he slaps her. I don't think it was.
I think he backhands her. I think he backhands.
I felt like it was a straight on punch.
Oh,
Like,
either way, it was rough.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
although I will say I was taken out of the scene just a little bit when the captain starts running, and I'm like, why, if he's hiding, was he right there? like I get it
Yeah.
for like the like tightness of like the episode. They were like, oh, we're gonna put him there, and then that way when he runs, like they can go catch him and all that. Whatever. But it was like it felt a little odd that this person who's supposed to be a fugitive and knows that this stuff is supposed to be there is like just literally out in the open with everyone else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was a little off, and they do catch him, and
Yep.
so Task Force wins round one. They found the captain.
Yes.
Murdoch is realizing that he lost the captain.
Yeah.
But he does find the first mate.
I do kind of want to get to like, I think it's interesting to talk about
Torture scene.
the torture scene
Yep.
just because of the fact, if we just touch on the fact that it seems like there's a third hand at play.
Okay.
Very much so because of the fact that he kept on saying, I just did what I was told to do.
Right.
So it sounds like there was somebody else telling this captain what to do.
To sink the ship.
To sink the ship. And it didn't seem like that was something that Fisk necessarily wanted.
Yes, that's a good point actually, because you would think Fisk was the one telling him what was on the ship, and to get it to his Red Hook harbor or whatever it is.
Yes.
Right. But you're right. This third party was saying, if you get caught, or was it if they got caught? Was it the intention all along to sink the ship? That's where we kind of leave the door open with like.
See, that's kind of what I was maybe thinking at some point, but it doesn't feel like Fisk is playing at that because I could have seen that if it seemed like Fisk was like, oh, he wanted this in the moment. He did kind of play on the fact that he did say that it was a terrorist attack specifically.
I think he was just using that terminology just to engage the task force with more authority.
Oh yeah, no, he's pulling power, but initially I was thinking he was going to use that as gaining more power, pushing against the vigilantes. But through the episode, it didn't feel like he was as much in control of that wreck as maybe the beginning of the episode kind of made it seem. Because it didn't seem like he had as much control over getting the stuff out of there. He didn't seem to have a plan of getting it out of there or believing that that's how it was going to play out. Unless like the only thing is like maybe he knew that Mr. Charles is somehow connected and that like he was going to get something and do that, and maybe he was going to do something like that. But it just didn't seem like he had the dots lined up enough for him to have been behind the sinking of the ship as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I think that's something we're gonna have to pay attention to the rest of the season. Maybe even these next two that we're gonna release next week. But the scene also shows the ruthlessness of Buck.
Yes,
because dude, he comes in to play good cop, and he's like kind of talking him up. Just tell me what you know. Just tell me what you know, man. And then when he realizes there's no more information to get, he like angles himself behind him, pulls a gun out, says he's gonna be okay, and just blows his brains out.
And he's like, I just did what I was supposed to do. I just told what I was told to do. And he's like, yeah, I know. And then he just like it's a very cold. It's a cold moment, but it's also like it's a very interesting moment. It's like because you get to see it's a calculatedness with Buck, instead of just it being. That's one of the interesting things about him is he isn't doing these things like out of brutality. He isn't doing these things out of anger or out of over reacting to things. Everything he seems to do has a purpose.
Yeah. And speaking of purpose, Matt Murdock, he's tracking down the other one, and he's got the help of the detective, the private investigator who works with the law firm with McDuffie. There's clearly a subplot that's happening with McDuffie and the law firm.
Yes,
but I feel like that's not important yet. I feel like it's nowhere near the scale yet. But I do feel like there's going to be some interwoven parts of everyone's storyline with the law firm.
I think there will be something along those lines. I think right now it's supposed to be just kind of showing, once again, I think it was to show us
outside what's going on.
I think it's to show us like just how much, once again, it's elaborating the power that Fisk is getting because he's putting his fingers on people in the DA's office, Like
That's
with
true.
with
The opposite lawyer, whoever that
yes.
guy was.
And also, I think it's important to say that he's seen to have been a guy who was a relatively good guy before getting into this situation because of his like the way he talks to her, and she seems to be relatively like cordial with him, and they had had a relationship before this. And it seems like he is kind of just like, like he's just giving into like the power that's above him.
Dude, when she drops the line of like, "Well, that's not what the evidence says," and
Yeah.
he responds with evidence, that doesn't matter. Like,
Yes.
I was like, "Dang, okay, the corruption's real."
Yes.
Like, and she calls him out on it. She's like, "That's what happened to you.
Yes.
Like, this is not you who you should be." Like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that dialogue, that interaction was very interesting, and I'm trying to see the subplot where that subplot can go.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see, like, is it just going to be them constantly kind of the uphill battle that they're going to do? I think at some point he'll end up, they'll end up potentially representing the swordsman in some form or fashion.
I think they're going to represent all vigilantes
Yes.
in this war.
Yeah, I think
it's gonna
that
happen.
will be kind of it, but I think the swordsman might be like the lead guy, or maybe even.
Do you think he's going to be the sacrificial lamb that's going to like kind of?
I think there is a distinct possibility.
Okay, yeah, because there is this other subplot where we have the shrink.
Yeah, the shrink, Heather Glenn.
That's right, Heather Glenn, Dr. Heather Glenn, and she is doing a psych eval on the swordsman. Which, dude, his charisma and everything, dude, he's phenomenal. Like, just the way he speaks
Yes.
and his mannerisms. I'm like, dude, this guy's it right here.
Yeah.
But she does an exam to question his sanity, and I love how they focus in on what she's writing before he even like is answering the questions or
Yes.
saying like it's kind of leading you to she may not be on this fair
up and up.
fair plane here.
Yes.
And so which we see that play a factor in later when she gets a call. Was it Buck again? Or was it
I think it was Buck. Yeah.
I think it was. And who's telling her we need him to be
No,
Oh
it's
no,
not.
the
It's the
DA.
DA. Yep, you're right.
The DA, yeah. The DA, and he's like, I'm going over this data, and it's not reflecting like psychopath. Are you sure you got the like numbers right or
Yeah.
the stuff right? And she's like, kind of zoning out and having this PTSD
Yeah,
of
Muse.
Muse, which this is interesting to me because she saw him while she was interviewing the swordsman, and then she saw him while she's filling out reports in her house. In the comic books, there is a female Muse, and I'm questioning whether or not she will
Make that turn.
make that turn. And will they actually do it and execute it? Because that'd be very, very interesting if that's the route they're going to go with this character.
That would be a very interesting way if like they did that. If they did something similar to that. Essentially she becomes like almost like a copycat killer type situation. But yeah, she like erases one of his answers, and but it is interesting that she pulls out some liquor before she does it. It's like she's still at the point to where she can't, like, she knows what she's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, that's what that's kind of saying is like she knows what she's doing is wrong, but she's going to do it anyway. Although she kind of, like you were saying, she's kind of writing down stuff before it even starts.
Yeah.
She was kind of already willing to bend a little bit, and I think that was like a break. Like before it was a bend, and now it's a break.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think the swordsman could end up being, like you said, the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
To where, like, maybe he's the maybe, like, that's kind of like the breaking point is they're like, they try to go through everything in the most, like, a straightforward manner, and he ends up getting sentenced to potentially death. Like,
Yeah.
what it sounds like that seems like what Kingpin is attempting to have be the consequence for this. And with his consolidation of power, and with the fact that people disappear, and with the fact that, like, essentially they're turning, metaphorically and literally that, New York is this island that he is in control of. It seems like, it is a possibility because they are already, had an, extrajudicial killing of a vigilante in season 1.
Yes.
You
they
know, with him just being like literally just shot in the head in the street by most likely a police officer. So it'll be interesting to see if this is like the next step. It's like, okay, so we went from just beating up people and lying about it to literally an extrajudicial killing of a vigilante to now a legal killing of a vigilante.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing this extreme escalation happen through the first and second season where, they're tearing down a lot of the structures that are set up there to keep people safe and to keep justice in line.
Yeah. Yes, and Matt he's trying to figure out what's going on to stay within the lines of what's going on.
Yeah.
And the private investigator, he does find some information that Matt has to figure out, right? And so
Yes.
The task force is on to the detective, and they knock on his door, and he's like, I don't need to talk to you guys. Like, get out of here. And of course, they break through the door, and they are now interrogating him, putting him sitting him in the chair. And but luckily, he was able to get a text off beforehand, and Daredevil shows up, and epic fight in this small little apartment, very epic. So much so where Daredevil is handling them easily, until he's distracted by the heartbeat of the detective because he's having
he's having a heart attack,
whatever, and it reminds him of Foggy's heartbeat.
Yes,
and he gets hit really hard, gets knocked out. While this scene's going on, I'm like, dude, what is going on? Why is he getting beat up? Why is he distracted? Handle your business. This can't be happening. Like all these things are happening.
And then they get him down, and like he's starting to pull off his mask. And you're like, what is about to happen?
They pull his mask off. I'm like, this can't be good. Now Daredevil's got to kill these people. There's no way you're getting out of here without the.
I was like, is the former detective now? Right, is he going to have to kill them?
Right.
Like that's kind of where I was thinking it was going to go.
Instead, they all drop like flies.
Yes.
And
initially, I thought Punisher.
I thought Punisher too. I thought Punisher too, and I was like, that's the only thing. And then I was like, could it be somebody new, right?
Yeah,
that we haven't seen in any of the series.
It could have been somebody new as well. Honestly, that thought never really crossed my mind. I was like, Punisher.
Yes, Punisher, but those are lethal. Those are kill shots. All of those are kill shots.
Yes.
And then there's a dagger in the ground on the floor, which has Bullseye's logo and says "You're welcome" on it. And then the episode ends.
Yes.
So the episode ends with Bullseye, Daredevil's enemy.
Yes.
Saving him.
Yeah, which is it's an interesting consequence because okay, so conceptually you're kind of like built in this idea of you're kind of seeing in season 1, although Bullseye was his enemy, they did kind of like readjust his role into being more. He was more kind of doing it because this was the job that he was given, rather than it was what he was doing was straight out of either like evil or doing it so that he could hurt Daredevil. So they kind of like reconceptualized him a little bit in the way that he is kind of played out. So that is one thing that is interesting about him. And this kind of like points in like maybe so it kind of creates the idea, okay, is there someone who's a benefactor of Daredevil that has Bullseye doing this? Is Bullseye now working of his own volition? And like is sort of like sees the tea leaves of like all vigilantes are essentially on the chopping block now, and he needs to protect the people. Well, you need to be part of like the solution rather than part of the problem.
Yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting if this is leading to them being allies, because clearly he wasn't over Foggy. because that was the reason for all of
Yes.
this. And now the potential of working with Foggy's killer is just
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think at most it'll be like a begrudging alliance, like kind of like a truce while we figure things out. I think it's about as good as it gets, and maybe that's part of the reason why he didn't come in there himself. Like he's like, I don't know if I'm welcome in there at this time.
Oof, yeah, man, you're right. But at the end of the episode there, that's a hook. That's a hook for sure.
Yes.
And I am looking forward to episode 2, and which we get episode 2 and 3.
Yes, we do.
Next week, which the double drop, which T-Roll absolutely loves, more episodes dropping at the one time.
Yeah.
It's kind of his favorite thing in the whole entire world.
Yeah, it just means fewer weeks you gotta watch.
Honestly, yeah, that's really what it is. And so, dude, I'm looking forward to next week. After episode 1, overall, Shamato, episode 1, season thoughts.
Like so far, I'd say like it was a strong start. I felt like it set up a lot of things. It kind of throwing out one last thing, you do get that moment with BB where you kind of get what line she really runs on.
Yes, good point,
I did want to throw that out
Good
there.
point.
And you get to see what I kind of alluded to. You see her doing, you see Karen doing more.
Yes,
Like
throws on a
more
wig.
dangerous work is like frontline work where I feel like I said, she'd been mainly doing like essentially she'd been helping, but it was mainly like office work.
Yeah, and now she's actually like in the field collecting intel from an informant or a source, and then talking to BB, and it's just interesting because the information that BB said, she's like, Am I actually working for them, or is there some more at play? And which clearly we know that she's kind of building them up, Fisk's image, so she can tear it down.
Yes.
And so from her anonymous side.
Yes. And like who's this secondary person?
Yeah,
on
that's
there?
right. A good point.
Yeah.
The Fisk imitator slash mocker or whatever, right? And Fisk impression, voice, and he interrupted BB's her report that was the propaganda.
Yeah.
To completely dismantle
Yes.
Fisk, which is this BB's alter ego now, or is this?
Is it possible?
Another
Is it, does she have somebody who's working with her?
Yeah.
I'm
glad you brought that up because that is going to be another subplot. There's a lot of subplots.
There are, and I do think like leaning into the whole. You were like, well, what's going to happen with Karen and things like that. She kind of laid some stuff out that does not sound when she was talking to BB. Sounds like stuff like I'm about to take a step out the door, like type of situation. Like in the sense, like I may not make it through this. Like with her talking about, oh well, I think I'm pretty sure I'm the reason why your uncle's dead. Like that kind of stuff, and just like the way she was talking, and it's like take care of yourself. Like it just kind of felt like the tropes of someone who may not make it through a season. But what I also like, she is essentially like one of the 2 or 3 main characters of the series.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Overall, I'm really excited for this season and see where it goes. And tune in every week. We'll be breaking it down for you guys. We really do appreciate our listeners out there. Remember to like and subscribe and follow us. We're on all of our social medias. We may not be as active, but you know what? Follow us anyway because we might drop something like our Trial by Tomatoes leaderboards. You can definitely check those out. We have a lot of interaction going on. People participating in this Trial by Tomatoes. If you don't know what it is, definitely check it out. We're gonna have some links and bios on Instagram and all this kind of stuff. So. But yeah, anyway, we really do appreciate you. So, all that being said, next week we should have the whole gang together again, and yeah, we'll dive deeper into Daredevil and Mario Galaxy next week. So it'll be fun. It'll be a real good time. So anyway, for Shamato and myself, Sandy, I want to go ahead and thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast, and we will see you next time, you peasants.